Welcome to Beyond the Beach, career conversations with recent graduates of Cal State Long Beach. The podcast that looks past life in the classroom, past school, and past graduation to explore the ocean of possibilities out there beyond the beach. I'm Kenji Klein, Professor of Management at the College of Business at California State University, Long Beach, and your host on this exploration. In this first introductory episode, I just wanted to give you all a brief introduction to what this podcast is about, who it's for, what we'll be doing, and why I decided to do this particular podcast with this particular content. In this show, I'll be interviewing my former students, all graduates of Cal State Long Beach, who are about 5 to 8 years into their early career. And we'll be talking about things like how my guests chose a career path, how they landed their first job, what it's been like to navigate the chaos and the challenge and the opportunities of their early careers. So who is this podcast for? Well, hopefully it's for people like you, current students or recent graduates who are trying to chart your own path outside the classroom, outside of school, and after graduation. My hope in doing this podcast is that instead of presenting you with some abstract theories or some generic advice about managing those critical first few years of your post-school life, that I could provide a platform for real people who were in your exact shoes just a few years ago to share their stories so that you can get an honest and realistic picture of what might be out there for you. My hope is that you will find their experiences useful and inspiring and help you chart your path beyond the beach. The reason I thought this was important is because I realized talking to a lot of my current students, a lot of whom are seniors or juniors who are really thinking carefully about how they're going to find their next job, their first post-school job, what they want to do with their careers, and how they're going to navigate that early part. It occurred to me that a lot of them don't really know what the options are stressed out about how they're going to find it, how they're going to find a good job, what to do in order to get ready for it, what to expect when they're out there, how to decide if a career really fits what they want to do, all the kind of questions that I think a lot of you guys are wrestling with. And it occurred to me that one of the things that might be really, really helpful for people in that situation was to hear from people who've gone through those early career actions and challenges and situations that you guys are about to experience, because they would be able to offer a realistic perspective on what is actually involved. They can share stories about what they did in order to find their first jobs, or talk about what was difficult, or tell you the things that worked for them or the things that didn't work for them. And they could also provide perspective on what happened in that first job. What was it like? What were the hard things? What were the easy things? What did they enjoy? What did they hate? How did they figure out whether or not this was for them? How did they navigate opportunities and get promoted and do the kinds of things that you need to do in those early parts of your career? And ultimately, how to sort of end up in a place that is satisfying and meaningful. And I figured that rather than listening to a professor or a career counsel give you these sort of generic ideas about what it is that you need to do, that it would be a lot more helpful to hear from people who'd been in your shoes about what they had done. And maybe their path is a little bit different from where you want to end up being. Maybe they'd made choices that you wouldn't have made or that don't fit what you want to do. But if you hear enough of these people talk about what they've been to, I believe that that will give you a better sense for what's out there, what might work, what's going to work with your own personal ambitions, desires, characteristics, and needs. And then that would be a lot more useful than just having someone like me tell you what I think is going to be in your best interest. So that's the idea behind the podcast. I think it's going to be really interesting. I have a lot of really great guests who have a lot of insight. I think you'll learn a lot from it. I'm really excited to share these interviews with you, so I'm really looking forward to having you listen and tune in for the episodes that are to come. Thank you very much, and I look forward to having you hearing the rest of the shows.